This is not a standard 992S. Not even close. Because the standard Porsche Carrera 992S comes out of the factory with 443 horsepower from a 3-litre twin turbocharged flat 6. It is surgical and it is incredibly fast, and it is arguably one of the most complete daily drivers that money can buy today.
This car has a bespoke aftermarket wide-body kit, lowered ride height on upgraded sport suspension, massive 21-inch raceline alloy wheels, and a remapped ECU that pushes out a terrifying 633 horsepower. It's finished in this gorgeous midnight blue, which shockingly I actually think looks better than black.
To top it off, they replaced the factory fitted exhaust with a full titanium Akrapovič Group 3 race setup exhaust, and it sounds absurd. I've had the keys to this absolute weapon for the last few days, but over the course of today's video, we're going to be putting every single one of the modifications to the test. We're going to be launching it from 0 to 60. We're going to listen to what a 630 horsepower titanium piped exhaust system sounds like at full chat, and we're going to be driving it down some proper British back roads, all to answer one fundamental question. Has tuning this 992 created the ultimate GT3 RS bargain? Or has it ruined the daily usability that made 911 so perfect in the first place? Let's find out. Before we address chassis dynamics or the sheer power of this thing, we have to discuss easily the loudest and most striking modification on this entire car, and that is the exhaust system. To show you what this system does, you really just have to listen to it. So we'll start with a cold start. Now that she's warm, we can do a couple of starts. We'll first do it with the exhaust valves closed. Fairly muted. And now we'll do it with the exhaust valves open. To be honest, on startup, you can't really hear that much of a difference when the valves are closed or open. Where you really hear the difference is when it's a cold start and the choke comes on. Then it is so loud. But I suppose the thing is with opening and closing of exhaust valves on any car really is that if given the option, I will just always have them open because I just love the sound of it. And especially on this, as it doesn't make that much difference having them open or closed when you start it up, it would only really be for your neighbours that you would close them anyway. Or speaking from personal experience, it sounds absolutely incredible with that Akrapovič exhaust. It really does. As soon as you get inside the 992, you quickly realise just how well designed the interior is. It is totally uncluttered, it's clean, and it is simple. You don't have too much going on in the central console here. You just have your wet mode, sport mode, hazards, traction control, and the suspension stiffening. The steering wheel is similarly uncluttered. You've got a programmable button here, which at the moment is set to open and close the exhaust, but I actually don't think that's necessary because for me personally, I would just open it every time I got into the car on here, on the infotainment system, and then I would just leave it open for the entire time I'm driving it. But I think some people would like to have this open and closed, so having it on the steering wheel is quite useful. Directly in front of the driver, you've got Porsche's signature analog tachometer with a physical needle dead in the center. That is flanked by 2 screens with 2 dials on each side. On the right at the moment, you've got the fuel range, you've got temperatures and pressures, and then on the left, you've got a digital speedo and a clock. All of this is obviously customizable. You can put G-force meters in there, navigation maps, whatever you want really. There are some downsides to the interior though. Once you adjust the steering wheel to a sort of natural sporty position, the outer rim completely blocks the 2 outer digital gauges. So in order to see the time, I have to crane my neck and go around that way. In order to see the fuel range, I have to crane my neck to the right, which is not ideal. Or you can go through the center, but either way, it just feels a little bit strange. Not the end of the world though. 992 purists also complained about the redesigned center console gear selector, saying that it looks a little bit like a small electric razor. I don't really agree though. I mean, it does kind of look like an electric razor, to be honest, but I really like the haptics of it. I think it's nice and clean, but you know, if it really annoys you, you don't have a proper clunky gear selector, then you're entitled to that opinion, but I think it's actually totally fine and very chic. While we're on haptics, actually, the indicator stalk is really, really nice. The flick back at the end is just really, really feels good. Now to driving it. Well, if this was a normal 992 Carrera S, I would now say that I totally get how people can buy these 911s and drive them every single day. But as we have previously discussed, this is not just your average 992 Carrera S. And as a result, the ride is extremely harsh. And it's actually very easy to get quite savage kangaroo hopping in first gear. I've not driven a normal 992 Carrera S, so I don't know whether or not that's something that happens in these cars anyway, or whether or not that is from the tune, but I suspect it's from the tune. You also have to approach every single speed bump at an angle at about 2 miles an hour, with your fingers crossed, praying that you don't hear the sound of thousands of pounds worth of custom bodywork scraping against the tarmac. Notwithstanding all of that though, this thing is absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a very, very nice place to be sitting for extended periods of time. And actually, it's quite remarkable how much space you have. The front boot, I don't know what they call that, the frunk, or is that an Americanism? It's actually surprisingly spacious in there. You can get 2 good-sized cabin bags. And then if you don't have passengers in the bag, you actually have really quite a lot of space there. And I don't know if you can see it from here, but there's a parcel shelf at the back where you could definitely get at least another 2 cabin bags, probably. So it is actually... it's actually pretty convenient as well. The steering is super light and you sit low, but it's very comfortable, the actual seating position. And you have great visibility out over the front, those sort of swooping, iconic front wings. And actually, as soon as you get it out of town, it just all starts to make sense. You're driving it around London. You spent the whole time wishing that you were in the countryside, which is where this thing really starts to make a lot of sense, and where I am imminently going to be thrashing it around. Fucking hell. There's so much traffic in England nowadays, even once you get out into the countryside, it's quite difficult to find roads that are empty enough to actually have a bit of fun on. And that would be one of the only drawbacks, I suppose, or not drawbacks, but things that would prevent me from buying a 911. Well, other than the fact that I absolutely can't afford one. But if we were talking in a world where I could afford one, oh, here we go. Oh, if we were living in a world where I could actually afford one of these, it would be quite annoying living in London because I wouldn't actually ever get to drive it to its full potential. I find that on my motorbike a little bit as well. But I suppose you would just have to take it to the track. And a lot of people do that, but a lot of people say it's a bad idea because even though these are capable of going around the track, they're not. 992 Carrera S's aren't actually track cars, so you are going to put some serious work through just everything, all the components. And I do have a bit of a history of track days. Firstly with my Audi RS3, where I absolutely pounded it around the track, and then several things broke on it afterwards, including the final drive, which was so expensive to fix. And as a side note, I spun an aerial atom and smashed it into the wall, and that was a very expensive mistake. But maybe that wouldn't happen with this. I've finally got past an absolute slow coach. Now we've got some open roads, but I think they're closed. Yeah, the road's closed, so that's just great, isn't it? That is just fan-dabby doo-dah. At least now we've got this little bit of road that is clear. It's so connected and stiff. Just all feels very tight and glued to the road. And then when you put your foot down, it just has so much to give. It's so fun. I can see why so many people love 911s and why they are such iconic cars. The noise of that exhaust just so pleasing to the ear. This car makes so much more sense when you get it out of town and you can actually use it for what it has been so well designed for. All right, let's see what kind of 0 to 60 we can get out of this thing. 3.47, pretty pleased with that, although we obviously don't have perfect conditions here and I can't do it that many times, so we can't try and improve on it, but pretty good, felt pretty fast to me. Would be enough for me if this is my car. Ooh, that is quick. That is extremely quick. So what's the verdict? Well, I want one very, very badly because this thing is an absolute weapon. I would maybe do without the stiffening of the race suspension because it is absolutely backbreaking. But I definitely don't mind the ECU mapping because genuinely this thing is an absolute beast and it is so, so fun to drive. By adding 190 horsepower, installing a wide body kit, lowering the center of gravity and uncorking the twin turbocharged flat six with that titanium Akrapovič race exhaust, they have created something very, very unique and very, very special. It sort of bridges the gap between something that's still usable as a daily and an absolute track weapon. Although I would really, really like to see what this could do around a track. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.